Internet. Internet is the world's largest computer network. The word Internet was coined from the word interconnection and network. The Internet is a network, or more precisely, inter-network of hundreds of connected networks made up of different types of computers all over the world that can share messages and as in the conventional star network. Individual nodes may thus still be isolated from the network by a single point of failure of a transmission path to the node. If a link connecting a leaf fails, information with one another. It is described as the network of networks. The Internet, a group of worldwide information highways and resources, is enabling the world to truly become an information society. It was created as a project for the US Department of Defense. The initial goal was to create a network that enables the safe transmission of data between military computers at different sites. From a handful of computers and users in the 1960s, today the Internet has grown to thousands of regional networks that connect millions of users. Thus, Internet has reduced the whole world into a global village. History of Internet. The Internet is not a new phenomenon. In 1973, the US Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency initiated a research program to investigate techniques and technologies for interlinking packet networks of various kinds. The objective was to develop communication protocols which would allow networked computers to communicate transparently across multiple linked packet networks. This was called the Interneting Project, and the system of networks which emerged from the research was known as the Internet. Its origin can be traced to an experimental network established with funding from the Advanced Research Project Agency (ARPA) of the US Department of Defense to enable the scientists engaged on various military projects to communicate with one another. Starting in 1965 with 4 sites in the USA, it soon grew to 10 widely dispersed sites, including those in the UK and Norway. This network was called ARPANET. Electronic mail over the ARPANET was a great success. This has given birth to the Internet. The National Science Foundation (NSF) took over the academic community network project in the 1980s after defense traffic was moved away from the ARPANET to MILNET, military network. After that, the NSF, the agency of the US government and other government entities, controlled access to the Internet. In its early days, the Internet was not used for commercial purposes, mainly because it was funded through research grants from the NCF and other government agencies. It was mainly used for technical, academic and scientific research. The main turning point in the history of Internet was in 1991 when NSF removed restrictions allowed commercial traffic into Internet. In April 1995, the government further relaxed control of the Internet to independent government further relaxed control of the Internet to independent governing bodies. which taken away the restrictions for internet access. Ever since commercial use of internet was allowed, the growth in subscribers and traffic has been phenomenal. According to the Internet Society estimates, the internet now has 30 million users on 10 million computers connected to over 24,000 networks in over 100 countries. It is often said that there has been no other technology or innovation in the modern history that comes close to the internet in terms of speed of adoption, significance and impact. Internet administration. The internet is neither run nor owned by anyone. Every organization that is hooked into the internet is responsible for its computers. The main advantages derived out of such a system are not membership fees, no censorship, no government control, etc. It is also not free from drawbacks. The disadvantage is that when something goes wrong, there is no central control to ask for assistance. However, a number of internet technical groups coordinate the working and maintenance of internet. Some of them are the Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF. IETF coordinates the operation, management and evolution of the internet. It has a prominent role in the development of the internet's communication protocols. It has the primary responsibility for further evolution of the TCP IP protocol suite, its standardization with the concurrence of the IAB and the integration of other protocols into internet operation, the Open Systems Interconnection Protocols, the Internet Research Task Force, IRTF. IRTF is concerned with the long-term research problems and technical issues confronting the internet. The Internet Research Task Force continues to organize and explore advanced concepts in networking under the guidance of the Internet Activities Board and with support from various government agencies. The Internet Architecture Board, IAB. They look after the technical and policy issues involving the evolution of architecture of the internet. Internet Society. Internet Society is considered to be the parent organization of the IAB. It does not directly involve the control and maintenance of internet, but the society works to keep the whole system smooth. Internet access. Access to internet is possible in one of two basic ways, namely dialing into an internet service provider's ISP computer or with a direct connection to an internet service provider. The difference between these two types of access is mainly the speed and cost. The minimum hardware and software required to get an internet connection is a personal computer, a modem, a telephone connection and communication software. Dial-up connection. Under the method, individual users dial into a local internet service provider through their PC and modem along the telephone lines. This provides connection to internet through a dial-up terminal connection. The computer, which provides internet access is known as host, and the computer that receives the access is client or terminal. The client computer uses modem to access a host and acts as if it is a terminal directly connected to that host. In dial-up connection to the internet, host carries all the command that is typed on a client machine and forward them to internet. It also receives the data or information from the internet on behalf of the client and passes it to them. The signals are received by a modem at the point of ISP and then to their computers. Then user can surf or browse the internet. To access any these dial-up accounts, you need the following: computer, modem, telephone connection, shell or TCP, IP, ISDN account from the ISP, internet client software such as internet browser. However, it provides the user with the slowest overall connection speeds. However, it may suit the purpose of the occasional internet user without a need for a fast or consistent connection. Broadband direct connection is the secure, dedicated and most expensive level of internet connection with leased connection. Computer is dedicatedly and directly connected to the internet using high-speed transmission lines. It is online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If the dedicated telephone line is used, no modem is needed to connect the computer to the internet, but only a router is sufficient. DSL, cable and fiber optics are in this category. DSL, digital subscriber line. DSL is the technology being used for internet access. DSL offers much faster speeds than those available with dial-up models. However, there are a wide range of speeds available from different providers. DSL connects our home or office to the internet through the same telephone wire. With DSL, user can make and receive telephone calls while connected simultaneously to the internet. To use DSL, we need a DSL modem, also called a router, a network interface card, and a telephone line. Cable modem connection. The connection speed can be up to 10 times that of a dial-up, and the cost is about 2x that of an ISP's dial-up account. With no phone company charges, many people who have cable TV can now get a high-speed connection to the internet from their cable provider. To use cable modems, you will need a cable splitter, a cable modem, and the service from a cable company. Fiber optics. Fiber optics allows speed even greater than DSL or cable. Fiber optics connections are more expensive than DSL and broadband and are not available in all areas. Wi-Fi. It is even possible to connect to the internet wirelessly from home or while we are moving. Wireless technology allows users to have mobile connections, accessing the web where and when they need to. Wi-Fi networks can be found at many businesses, restaurants, and other public areas, or home connection can be set up through your ISP. These technologies vary in terms of connectivity, reliability, and cost, but they all allow users to connect whether they are at home, school, work, or on the road. Internet service provider. Internet service providers are companies that connected you to the internet for a fee. ISPs are available on a local, state, and national level. Large communication companies control access to the main lines of the internet structure. They in turn supply internet access to the smaller ISPs, who pass this along to the consumer. Internet protocols. A communication protocol allows different kinds of computers using different operating systems to communicate with one another. It is highly essential because Internet is not made up of any single type of computer system. Instead, there are great diversities found in the computers used on the Internet. The user connected on any network on the Internet can communicate with others or software located on any other network connected to the Internet using common set of protocols. An Internet protocol is a set of standards or rules for exchanging information between computer systems in a network. The most commonly used protocols are Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol, File Transfer Protocol, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, etc. Facilities available on the Internet. Internet provides several software tools to take maximum benefits from the net. It is possible to communicate with the people all around the world. Information on various subjects can be accessed by very easily. A user can navigate from one topic to another and download any information required by him. Friendship can be built with the people of related interest from around the world. Further business can be done and product can be advertised on the Internet. The following are some of the services that can be exploited by an Internet user. Email, FTP, Usenet, Telnet, Internet Relay Chat, IRC, World Wide Web. Computers and operating systems. Electronic mail. Email or electronic mail is a paperless method of sending messages, notes or letters from one person to another or even many people at the same time via Internet. Email is very fast compared to the normal post. Email messages usually take only few seconds to reach at the destination. One can send messages any time of the day or night and it will get delivered immediately. It works 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. The copy of the message sent will be available for future references. It is also possible to send something extra such as file, graphics, images, etc. along with email. The biggest advantages of using email is that it is cheap, especially when sending messages to other states or countries, and at the same time it can be delivered to a number of people around the world. One can communicate with his friends, institutions, various departments through electronic mail much faster and at a much cheaper cost compared to telephone or ordinary mail. On its way, messages passed from one computer to another along the network. Each computer reads the email addresses and routes it to another computer until it reaches its destination. It is then stored in an electronic mailbox. All this process will be completed with a few minutes, and that allows that the users to communicate quickly and easily with millions of people around the world. Anytime for the cost of a local phone call. The recipient of the message can open the mailbox and read the message at his convenience. There are email programs which can manage all electronic messages. The reply to the message can also be sent over internet. Working of email. Working of email is quite simple. The sender has to type the message first and then type the email address of the recipient. Proper care should be taken while typing email addresses. If address is not correct, the message will not be received by the recipient. After that, press the send button of the email program. Immediately on processing the send button, the message passes to the modem and then coded analog signals are sent over the telephone line. The email message then arrives at the server of our ISP. If it recognizes the email address, the mail will be sent. The mail is then sent through internet. The message will be received by the recipient's ISP and server, where it will be delivered to the recipient's mailbox. Finally, the recipient modem and computer decode the data and the message now can be read by him. Email address. As in the case of normal mail system, email is also based upon the concept of a recipient address. The mail and email address provides all of the information required to get a message to the recipient from anywhere in the world. Electronic messages are delivered to the recipient at his email address. Email address is a series of characters that precisely identifies the location of a person's electronic mailbox. Email addresses are made up of the following: the username, sometimes only 8 characters, then the @ symbol, then the name of the user's ISP. The last 2 or 3 characters describe the type of service called the top level domain name. For example, .com stands for commercial site, .org stands for organization, edu. Stands for educational institutions, .net network, etc. For example, Sharath@gmail.com is an email address. An email address is read from left to right. Sharath is the user's name, which is the name of a mailbox on the destination computer, where finally the mail will be delivered. Gmail is the mail server where the mailbox Sharath exists. .com is the type of organization on net which is hosting the mail server. File transfer protocol, FTP. This is another facility available in the internet. FTP, file transfer protocol, is the simplest and most secure way to exchange files over the internet. File transfer protocol is an internet utility software used to upload and download files. It gives access to directories or folders on remote computers and allows software, data and text files to be transferred between different kinds of computers. FTP works on the basis of same principle as that of client server. FTP client is a program running on the computer that enables you to talk to and get material from remote computers. The FTP client takes FTP commands and sends them as requests for information from the remote computer, or known as FTP services. To access remote FTP services, it is required but not necessary to have an account in the FTP server. When the FTP client gets connected, FTP server asks for the identification in terms of user login, name, password of the FTP client. If one does not have an account in the remote FTP server, still he can connect to the server using anonymous login. To gain access to the other computers, user has to supply a login name and password. An exception to this is anonymous FTP, which allows any user to access internet even without supplying login name. In response to the authentication prompts, user has to simply enter anonymous rather than supplying login name, and then he is required to supply his electronic mail address as a password. Usenet. Usenet or Users Network is not a computer network. In the physical sense, it is a vast body of news groups that are distributed all around the world by computers called news servers. These news servers exchange information so that each one carries a copy of the most recent messages. It is a leading distributed bulletin board consists of more than 1,500 news groups. That means Usenet provides separate news group, discussion group on different topics. Each news group focuses on a particular subject such as education, politics, economics, religion, sports, cinema, etc. Usenet users can read these bulletin boards and may post their views. In short, Usenet is acting like a huge bulletin board with thousands of news groups and subgroups. Telnet. This is another important facility available in Internet. Telnet allows Internet users to access another computer linked to the Internet. Telnet or remote computing is telecommunication utility software which uses available telecommunication facility and allows to become a user on a remote computer. The user's computer is called local computer, and the computers to which connection is established is known as remote computer. Once connection is established between the computers, the local computer can give commands to the remote computer, and all the commands are executed by remote computers. The user's monitor displays what is taking place on the remote computer during the communication section. Once you gain access to the remote computer, you can use it for the desired purpose. The telnet works in a very step-by-step procedure. The commands typed on the client computer are sent to the local internet service provider (ISP), and then from the ISP to the remote computer that you have gained access. Internet Relay Chat (IRC). Internet Relay Chat is a real-time internet-based chat service in which one can find live participants from the world over. It is a multi-user chat system that allows many people to communicate simultaneously across the internet. Developed in 1988 by Oikkarmin in Finland, the IRC, offering a unique type of talking experience on the net, has been used extensively for live coverage, world events, news and sports commentary. The IRC network on the internet consists of multiple interconnected servers. The IRC service provides a number of channels: public, private, secret or invisible. A user can select a channel of his choice and be part of particular conference on the internet. The user's interaction with his fellow people is achieved through a specially designed software, namely the IRC client. The IRC also allows the facility to the user to change from one chat group to another, join any conversation or listen only. It is also possible to invite somebody for a secret chat in the internet. World Wide Web. www. World Wide Web or simply web is one of the main reasons for growing popularity of the internet. Information can be accessed on the internet through World Wide Web. Web is a system of organizing, linking, providing access to related internet files, resources and services. Files can be accessed at the click of the mouse. This is mainly due to the arrangement of files based a hypertext or hypermedia approach. The web is an internet-based navigational system and information distribution and management system with vast potential of trade and commerce. World Wide Web. WW is the acronym for the World Wide Web. It is also commonly known as the web. The www is hypertext based information retrieval tool. One can easily surf the web by jumping from one document to another using the links in those documents. These documents can be in many formats such as text, graphics, animation, sound and latest is video. There may also be combination of all these. All the information on internet are presented to the user as a document or more popularly known as web page. All these web pages are linked to each other or even to section within a web page, and these links are known as hyperlinks. Then user can surf from one page to another by pointing and clicking on the hyperlinks in text or graphics. Originally, web was developed to share documents between distinct scientists in 1989. Tim Berners-Lee at CERN, European Laboratory for Particle Physics and Engineer, began to the web project. As soon as the basic outline of the web was complete, CERN to make all the software source code publicly available. Many programs in USA participated in the initial development of the web. Later in 1993, programmers developed Mosaic, the first browser with graphical user interface, web pages and HTML. The web presents information as a series of documents. These documents are known as web pages that are prepared using hypertext markup languages, HTML. A web page can be longer than computer screen and may require more than one piece of paper when it is printed. Here are different kinds of web pages. They are static pages and dynamic pages. Static pages contain static information. Only simple text is included in such web pages. Web technology also provides a mechanism for dynamic information to be included in pages. These pages are highly colorful, containing animation, sound and interactive elements. User can download pictures and sounds of a web page or their future use. Hypertext markup language. A web page is created using HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is a representation language used to create hypertext documents containing text, list boxes and graphic information. Users can easily create pages containing text combined with multimedia elements like graphic, audio and video. It also creates hypertext links. These hypertext links allow the user to jump from one text to another at a click of the mouse. Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP. A web page is transferred to a user's computer through Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP. It provides the language that allows servers and browsers to communicate. HTTP is the method through which web pages are transferred over the internet. HTTP is a client-server based internet standards or set rules. HTTP works in the following way. A user makes a request for web page through web browser. The browser issues a request to the server. The server then sends the requested page to the user's computer. Web browsing. Internet browsing, also called net surfing, is the process of accessing different websites on the internet hosted by various companies, organizations, educational institutions, etc. Any information relating any topic is available on the internet, and this can be exploited effectively through the process of browsing. A user can visit from one site to another site until he gets the needed website. The process of searching these different websites using web browsers is also known as surfing. Web browsers. Web browser is a program that runs on internet connected computer and web provides access to web pages. The tool used to view these web pages on internet is known as internet browser or simply browser. It is a software program specifically developed to extract information on user requested from the internet and presents them as a web page to the viewer. There are several browsers available in the market. However, the most popular are Internet Explorer from Microsoft and Netscape from Netscape. Other popular web browsers are Mosaic, Opera and Hot, Java, etc. Web surveys. Web surveys are a combination of software and hardware that store documents and other content. It is a program that accepts requests for information prepared according to the Hypertext Transfer Protocol (HTTP). The server processes these requests and sends the requested documents. Web surveys are not only useful in accessing websites but also it is used for giving information to outsides on request to make information available on the internet. The organization has to set up a web server. These web surveys have suitable software which allows production of web pages and its accessibility over the internet. The organization's web server then becomes one of the millions of web surveys that are available on the internet for users to access through their web browsers. Website is a place in the computer system that runs a web server and has been set up for publishing documents on the web. Web surveys are available for a wide range of platforms such as IBM PCs, Apple computers and Unix platforms. The most widely used web surveys are Microsoft's Internet Information Server and Netscape's Communications Server. As already stated, the web consists of two components, namely web surveys and web browsers. Web surveys run on any hardware platform and operating system. And store documents in HTML hypertext markup language. All web surveys and browsers communicate through a common protocol, namely HTTP. HTML contains tags which enable the web server to format text and graphics on the user's screens. Because of these facilities, users need not to know file names, formats, or location or information resources. The user has to merely points and clicks to reach the vast amount of the information on the internet. This is the main reason for transferring of the web from academic to commercial environment. Internet addressing. Internet addresses is used to identify people, computers, and information related with internet. IP address. IP address is required to communicate with other computers in the net. One must know the addresses of the computer to transfer files, send email messages, etc. An IP, Internet Protocol. Address is an identifier for a particular computer on a particular network. A 32-bit binary number that uniquely and precisely identifies the location of a particular computer on the internet. Every computer that is directly connected to the internet must have an IP address. An IP address consists of 4 sections separated by periods. Each section contains a number ranging from 0 to 255. Example 128, 43, 7, 12. The IP address has the following common characteristics. IP address in unique numbers. No two computers can have the same IP number. IP addresses are also global and standardized. Domain name. A domain name is a name used to identify and locate computers connected to the internet. No two organizations can have the same domain name. A domain name always contains 2 or more components separated by periods called dots. Some examples of domain names are Microsoft.com, IndiaCapital.com, Kerala.com, Pugmark.org, Mid.edu, etc. The last portion of the domain name is the top level of domain name and describes the type of organization holding that name. The important types of level domain names are the following. .com, commercial institutions. .edu, educational institutions. .org, miscellaneous organizations not included above. Country codes, a 2-letter abbreviation for a particular country. For example, IN for India, UK for United Kingdom, or FR for France, etc. Computers and operating systems. Each domain name is an English version of an IP address. An IP address consists of 4 sections separated by periods. The internet uses the numeric IP address to send data. A user is using a domain name, but a network is connecting to the web server with IP address related with that domain name. The domain name like Kerala.com is easy to remember than IP address like 204.228.12.5 domain name and corresponding IP addresses must be unique. Domain name system surveys are software that translates domain names to IP addresses. Uniform Resource Locator, URL. Each web page has its own unique addresses called a Uniform Resource Locator, URL. Web browsers make use of URL addresses to find web surveys. URL represent addressing scheme to locate the resources in the internet. It consists of letters, numbers, and punctuation. The basic structure of a URL is hierarchical, and the hierarchy scans from left to right. A typical internet address or URL would like the URL locates a particular web page among all the computers connected to the internet. The URL contains the components that specify the protocol, server, and path name of an item. Let us examine the URL. The protocol is followed by a colon, HTTP. The server is preceded by two slashes, and each segment of the path name is preceded by a single slash. Computer's internet. A protocol is set of rules that tells the computer know how to interrupt the information at the addresses. The first component, the protocol, defines the manner for interrupting computer information. Many internet pages use HTTP hypertext transfer protocol. Other common internet protocols that one might come across are FTP, file transfer protocol, and Usenet news groups protocol. Some examples: the second component, the server, identifies the computer system that stores the information you seek and is always preceded by two slashes. A server is a computer that has information stored on it and sends it to the client when a request is made. Each server on the internet has a unique address name whose text refers to the organization maintaining the server. The last component, computers or internet, defines the path within the server where the requested item will be found. Most of the web page will have as their secondary or extension name. Recap. A table is an organized arrangement of text in the form of rows and columns. The intersection of a column and a row is called a cell. The auto-fit option offers flexibility to automatically resize the column width based on different criteria. You can enhance the appearance of a table by applying a variety of borders and shading styles. Using the borders and shading, the table move handle and table resize handle are used to move and resize the entire table respectively. Splitting a cell means dividing the selected cell into separate cells. Word provides the different alignment options in alignment group on the layout table to set the placement of the text in cells. Combining two or more cells into a single cell is called emerging. Visual effects in presentation. Learning outcomes. The student will be able to use different presentation views, apply transitions and custom animations, insert media clips and action buttons, import data from the other applications. Microsoft PowerPoint is the most commonly used presentation software. You can create a professional presentation using this application. A presentation is a collection of slides arranged in a sequential manner to convey new ideas and impart information effectively. A slide is like a page in presentation containing the brief information that you want to communicate to your audience. In the previous class, you learned many features like adding pictures, shapes, and charts to enhance the look of a presentation. In this video, you will learn some new features of PowerPoint 2019 that make the presentation more interesting. Let us know the various views in which you can create and organize your presentation. Viewing presentation. You can view your presentation in different views such as normal, slide sorter, slide show view, and so on. Most of the views are available in the presentation views group on the view tab. By default, a user works in normal view. Normal view. The normal view is the default view of the PowerPoint. It is the main editing view which is used to write and design the slides for the presentation. In this view, you can add text, graphics, sound, animation and other effects to your slides. It provides you a large view of an individual slide in slide pane, notes in notes pane at the bottom, and slide displayed as thumbnails. Outline view. The outline view displays only the text on your slides in the outline pane. This view allows you to quickly edit the text on the slides and view the content of all the slides at once. You can use the outline view to create an outline or storyboard for your presentation. Slide sorter view. The slide sorter view displays a miniature view of all the sides of presentation in horizontally.